Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Copy That. I'm your host, Twilla Amin. And today we have my friend, my brother, David Hunter Jr., actor, writer, producer. Like, am I missing anything, Dave?
Come on.
Owner of Made for More
Come
Entertainment. Like,
keep it going. No, I'm playing.
Host. I can really keep going. This man is like multi-hyphenate. Multi-hyphenate.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. This is fire.
Of course.
Yeah.
We out here sipping our tea. I got peppermint. What you got?
Come on. I got some green tea and I got two things of honey.
Two things of honey.
Yes, and
you know, sweet with it.
Real G's keep the tea bag still in there.
Right, because the Brits don't like when we do that.
No, they don't.
They say we don't know how to drink tea properly.
Well, this is how you drink it in America.
Oh man, and I love that you just did an accent because you're a man of many accents and many voices.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I do. You know, we got in trouble for it when we were little, and now we get paid for it.
Man, they're like, we need somebody to.
Yeah.
You want me to do it?
Hey, do that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's cool.
Oh man. So okay, we're just gonna jump right in because, like I said, you do a lot. I known you like for a while, and when I first met you, you were writer actor.
Yeah.
Maybe just mostly actor.
Mostly acting. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell about that journey. Like, what's that been like? We don't have a lot of actors on this show.
No, for sure. No, I mean, first of all, the show is fire. You know, congrats to you. And then we in the building of a place where like I saw it before all these things are here. So it's just exciting when your friends invite you on and you kind of see the growth.
Man, I appreciate that.
But no, the acting, like I came to LA to obviously just act, and that's what I thought I was going to be doing.
Yeah.
And a health situation kind of changed the whole course of everything. Like I still do act, but around 2011, I got really sick, lost like 50 pounds in a month, and I've repeated the story over time. But I told God, if you heal my body, I'll tell everybody you did it. So that's why I keep repeating it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't act for like a year and a half, 2 years. And so I started writing a lot. And one of the first things I wrote was literally I was watching House of Cards, and I was like, I wonder if I could tell a story about a couple too. And so I wrote The Process, and it was the first draft, but then got on like Black and Sexy, and then people were like, hey, you're creating. And I'm like, wait, what? And some of the skills like I know now of just knowing people, meeting people, that's like producing.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, I know this person. Oh, you need somebody? I know them.
Nah,
and they're like, that's what producing is. And I was like, oh, so that really started a path. I love acting with all my heart, and I still do it, but I'm definitely opening up into the producing even more, for sure.
Yeah. To the point that you have your own production company.
Yeah. Because I felt like I was, you know, the production company's called Made for More Entertainment, and I felt like I was made for more than just acting. So, and I also said, I don't want to be 50 and hope I get an audition.
Right. So,
and I love, LA is hard to live. A lot of people move out here, and they're just like, I think it's going to be palm trees and the breeze and, you know,
there's
social media.
Trees.
There's some, you know, some need water, you know. But I mean, I love LA, but everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want to be in a position where it's so cool. Where like, even for the process, we're paying people, and like people were able to pay for stuff, and like somebody paid their rent, and I was like, wait, because of an idea?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, and not some ego thing, but I was like, man, I love that. And if I get to do that for the rest of my life, like call people and give them a job.
Right.
That's a blessing.
I'm not gonna lie, like I think, because when I came on as the process to help, I feel like that was like one of the first indie projects that I was on that people were paying people.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot.
Small. Hey,
it was something.
Twilla, you helped get us going. You were in the trenches. Twilla was seeing the budget, and she was like, Dave, we don't have it. And I was like, this is when I think like Uber first started.
Yeah.
I was like, don't worry, Twilla, I'll go get it. And she was like, okay, but I don't know if that's smart. I was out there like driving, got like $57. I was like, Twilla, we got it. She was like, what?
What? How? But
what
you're
are you
on
doing?
Camera. What do you got?
Yeah. When do you have time? We film tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you got us going.
Listen, I'm happy to be part of that process because I think it also like opened up my eyes more to like, you know, the type of stuff that I wanted to do and to create. And the people that I wanted to work with. So like we worked with some great people on that show. And I, you know, like I'm grateful for that. And even being considered because you do some great work.
Nah, it's fire. I think when I was sick during that time, I was just like you know, not morbid, but life was really like I did almost lose my life. Like you know, I had like 6 colonoscopies. I had to get checked for colon cancer. I got to get checked for liver cancer. I still get checked for that stuff, and it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to be part of things that outlive me. No, you good. That's what we got the tea for.
Right.
But like, I want to be part of things that outlive me, and so like working with you, working with dope people, patient with me, even though I didn't know like all the necessary. I was very raw then,
and we're always
you were
growing.
still helpful.
Yeah.
But so it's I'm excited like to think that's the first project. I watch it now. And I should have did this. You feel me?
We do that to all our projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Couple of things I want to touch base on, but first, I am not letting it escape that you are also a voiceover actor because like y'all are hearing this great voice over this mic. Yeah. I think like one of the coolest, like you've done a lot of really cool things, but like my favorite thing is like voice of God.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like I've been talking like with a deep voice for a while, but like one of the first jobs I had when I got to LA, I was a tour guide at the Kodak Theater / Dolby Theater. So in case you don't know, it's in Hollywood. It's where the Oscars take place. By default, I got to go to the Oscars. So I've been in the Oscars 10 years. And it's crazy because my boss, he was like, oh, you an actor. Hey, you got a nice voice. Why don't you call the show for us? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, call the show. So I had a whole run of the show, had to go to the rehearsals for the Oscars. And I got to like, you know, the show will be starting, a commercial break in 5 minutes or commercial break, like do all these things.
Yeah.
And I did it every year. And then we got new bosses and they just see the report from last year. They're like, oh, Dave's the voice of God, so he'll do it.
Yeah.
Then that turned into me, like when we did movie premieres, I would be the voice of God for like Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
America's Got Talent. So it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, by the grace of God, voiceover is so hard. I literally just got my first voiceover agent.
Wow.
But it turned into like 4 auditions a month to 10 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
It's a job to audition.
Yeah. And that just shows also like the importance of having an agent. Like you could do it without an agent, but like the way that it, like you said, it went from 4 a month to 10 a week.
Like people knew I did voiceover.
Yeah.
And like a agent or casting director may reach out for something. Like I did a project and it was great. Shout out to Natasha Ward. She was a casting director. She cast me and I got to do a HBO project for Issa Rae.
Nice.
For when they had Insecure going on. But it was like 4 a month.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, I didn't even have access to this.
Right.
So it's just animation, commercial, promo. I'm like,
Man,
let's get it.
That's exciting.
Chips.
That's exciting.
When we book them. When we book.
Yes.
Chips Ahoy. When we book.
When we book.
When we praying on it.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah, you're definitely booked. You'll definitely get this. Tell me a little bit. So we know, and I'm also going to piggyback on you telling your story of like when you were sick in 2011, because I have to add that you were sick. And then I put out to all my friends like, hey, I'm moving. Can I get some people to help me move stuff to storage? And Dave shows up like, hey, what we moving? Like, and I was like, yo, didn't you just say you were sick?
Yeah.
But you was there and you showed up. And that just speaks volumes on like how you are for people and how you show up in people's lives. And I think that goes a long way. And I think like the way you also bring people on continuously, like that's just your heart and who you are. So shout out to you on that.
Thank you. But you're a real one. And I think, you know, just your fruit, it shows as well. So it's like when you have people who are like, what do you like equally, like when you give, it's like, what does Twilla need?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because, you know, sometimes you do something for somebody, but you can feel like you're being used or it's not appreciated. Right. And it's like even you just popping up when we're filming. Oh, just man. Hey, what's going on? You done work 14 hours. You may have just flown in and you just stopped by the studio just to say, hey, it's like, it's a light when I get to see you in there. So I pray that we get to keep doing this for years.
For sure.
You
yes,
know?
I'm with you on that one. So now I know you're working on some really cool projects. You have a short film, two short films, or a short film and a web series?
We have a short film that we finished with Major and Ron G. It was really dope, called Terry. And shout out to Hillary Phillips and Miko. Miko directed. So that was dope. We just did a screening of that.
How'd that go?
It went really well.
Good.
I think people like it's a movie that has some heaviness to it.
Yeah.
And so festivals are interesting because they like the film. Like I gotten, oh, we like the film, but our programming theme this year is this.
Yeah.
So
I know about
it's
that.
not a
yeah.
it's not a reflection of the quality of the film, but just that. But
what people are looking for.
We did great work. We shot it's a web series, but like TV pilot actually.
Okay.
Honest Tea. And that's really we're excited about that. It's just taking time.
Yeah.
But when it hits, it's going to hit, I think.
I think that's important for people to know because as creators, independent creators, a lot of times we put a project out, we make it. We might not always understand like distribution and exhibition of a project, or you feel like after the film, like after you go to all these film festivals, then what?
Yeah.
I think it's important. Like I think one thing I've learned from you is that you'll have a project and you'll continue promoting it longer than most people will. Yeah. Like, because most people are just like, okay, forget about that, on to the next. You'll move on to the next, but then you're also like steady promoting what platform can this live on.
Yeah.
And I think as a creative, and when I say creative, it's the people that like put the project together, like, because you have this in your head, like, we're gonna create this. And then what a lot of times like overwhelms people.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I think we can talk about all the good things, but I think one of the real things that helps like me to connect to people, and I think all of us, is just being genuine, authentic. And like sometimes it's emotionally draining because, you know, I think I saw something TD Jake said. He said, you know, when you're great, it comes with like great stuff. And so if you like, it's a crushing. So you can encourage somebody for an hour and they leave feeling great, and then you're feeling defeated.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I've experienced that a ton because it's like, I think it helps me though with being a creator and being an actor on the front and the back, is that as actors, I've heard so many times like, man, what happened to that project?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you film something, you're like, where is it?
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm like, how can we like extend the life? And sometimes people are like, oh man, I don't, but you never know. Like there's some opportunities that like just because you don't hear anything doesn't mean it's not being talked about behind the scenes.
Exactly.
It could take 4 years, but if it hits at the right time,
right.
You
know, a lot of
know.
times, like you'll find yourself like ahead of time, and you know, like I know that we're both like spiritual people, so we know that like God's time is everything. So like sometimes you're given this vision, and it's not for now; it's for later, and that's Habakkuk. We could get into that later. Whew. But so, you know, like you just like obedient. You have this vision, this project that you want to create. If you have all the resources to create it at that time, that's what you do. And then you are like, well, nobody's watching this, or I can't get this out. And it might not be made for that moment. But like,
you're hitting on it so real. And I think the biggest thing I've learned is like God's timing is perfect. And so it really is. And the more I look back, you have to live to be able to look back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I look back and I'm like, oh, that's why that happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's why it wasn't time. Oh, I needed some maturity here. Oh, I'm thankful for that boss that was disrespectful or rude or something like that. And you don't realize it until you go through it.
Yeah.
But it's like even in the Bible, you know, not trying to preach to you.
but
the scriptures, they be like, it's like, you know, thou prepares the table in the presence of my enemy. You saying the scripture, but then you got to actually eat at a table in the presence to, you know, to be able to pray these prayers. You got to actually experience it.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage people, like we shot the process in 2014, but we got on Black and Sexy in 2016. Or we shot, like around that time. Like we got on like 2 years after.
Yeah.
And it was just like screening the same black and white clip at different places. And then like I reached out to Black and Sexy and they said something, but then like a year later, they're like, oh yeah, we meant to get back to you.
Right.
And so I'm all discouraged. And they were just like, oh, we forgot. Thanks for following up.
Yeah. Persistence.
And next thing you know, it's like it starts moving. Yeah.
And you'll find like, and I think you'll find that true if it's a project that you're working on, a job or a position, that like sometimes it's like it's the timing, it's following up, it's being professional, and just, you know, like not giving up hope on things.
Man, come on, not giving up hope. That's real. That's real.
That's
come on,
so
you
important.
Woo, Jesus.
So since you've made the I won't say transition, but because I feel like you've just opened up and embraced more titles.
Mm-hmm.
So since you opened up and embraced being a producer and a writer and owning your production company, how has it shaped you as an actor?
Tremendously. I see so many things behind the scenes, and as an actor, I don't take it personal. Because there's literally, like, you do your job, and then literally just a whole lot of things happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It just teaches me to show up and do what I control.
Yeah.
So if I have my headshots, updated, if I'm working out, eating right, getting sleep, and then staying on top of like the shows or my skills or finding my skills, then when I show up for the audition, I can't help but be prepared.
Right.
And over time, like talent shows up. So like there's a lot of, people always, oh, that person knows a nepotism, whatever. But like real talk, some of that will get you in the door, but talent's gonna keep you.
Keep you in the door.
And so it's helped me. The producing is crazy. Like I produced the short film Terry, and then the line producer who I got to bring on, Jamari, who she and I connected. We just hit it off, and then she brought me on to work with Amy Aniobi and her team. And so we did a couple shorts with them. And then recently we came together and started working with this brother named D'Angelo Lewis. And he was at Proximity Media and like connected to Creed films, the Black Panther, all these things. And in a year, God was like, look what I just did.
Yeah.
I'm positioning you. And so I got exposure and in circles that like from afar I was just watching, and now I'm like on the other side,
right?
And then all of them, even though I'm producing, they're like, Dave, you know everybody. Oh, but Dave, you're an actor, right? So I've been in all the films in a small part, but it's like he's like, yo, I'm a use your gifts will make room for you and bring you before. That's real,
absolutely.
So identify your gifts, refine your gifts and make sure they're ready. Because also I tell sometimes too, we're so worried about how long we're waiting that we're not doing anything while we're waiting.
Ooh, that's
good.
And
and that's really difficult because like the TD, I'm combining me and TD, but TD said, it's hard for a visionary because they see what can be, but wake up to what is.
Yeah.
And so you literally are living in the present while knowing like, I know I'm bigger than this. This studio apartment. I know I got $1 million ideas.
Yeah.
And I got food for less cash. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Y'all in LA, y'all know about that food for less. It's a different brand. I ain't judging, but it's different. Vons, Pavilions, Gelson's, Rouse, Whole Foods, and food for less. Come on.
All...
I don't know how I took a shot at food for less. But it's just real.
Food for less is like, I've been there for you.
I've been there from the jump. How dare you?
Now you too good.
How dare you? Nah, while you're waiting, like you got it. Your yes could come. Yeah. And when it's time to go, it ain't time to get ready. So let's get it.
Say that again. When it's time to go, it ain't time to get ready.
Yeah. When it's time to go, it ain't time to get ready.
Yes.
Like you literally, like a lot of people talk about things that they want, but I don't think we're really living in it. And again, I'm telling you, I'm only sharing the difficulty that I've dealt with because like it's hard as all get it. I'm talking like a repossessed car, a broken engagement.
Yeah.
Like we can be transparent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've had
That's
the
what
health.
We're here for. Yeah.
The health I went through, that was the worst of it all. But all those other things came after. I was like,
life be lifing.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
You feel me? But all that time I was still writing. I was still praying. I was like, all right, well, I can't do anything but hang on.
Right.
Because the alternative is giving up.
And I have to trust it. Yeah. I think to that, just saying like, always, stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've kind of I surprise myself in sometimes is that like, if I start a project, I'm going to do all the paperwork. Like if it's an idea, there's going to be an outline. There's going to be the script. There's going to be the character description. There will be a pitch deck. Like all the things that need to be, I probably would have done a budget. This is just how I operate and how I think things through. So then when it comes time to actually pitching or somebody's interested in it, I forget that I've done all that. And then so they're like, hey, we need a log line or an outline. And I was like, hold on. And I go in my folder and it's all there. Yeah. I might need to tweak it just a little bit. Yeah. But it's all there. And that has been like a consistent that I've realized in the past couple of years that's been really beneficial. Like, so like the things that we've created might not be for that time period in particular, but when people are ready to look at it and want more information, like, because I've put in the work, I can be like, here's the whole pitch deck.
you were talking about just doing the work, and like your expectation is that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So like it's like an actor. Like we literally live on faith every day. Like you wake up and you have reps, and you could get a call.
Yeah.
You could not, but you could.
Yeah.
And what happens if you do? You have to almost live your life. And it's the balance, because they're like, well, all you guys are just living on dreams,
right,
and all that. I'm not saying don't take care of your bills and try to do that.
Because of eating too.
Yeah, eating properly. But
yeah,
doing the work, like even as an actor, I was like, wait, if they're gonna ask for stuff, let me just find it easier instead of like looking for it every time.
Right.
So I just created like a Google Drive for acting stuff, and then I got a new rep. She's like, "Oh, can you send your materials?" And I just shared the folder with her, and she could look for headshots, resume, voiceover.
Yeah, you're prepared, and it made it easier.
Man, it made it easier on me. I stopped stressing.
It made it easier for you. Your rep is like, "Oh, it's right here."
Yeah.
Now y'all got to share a folder.
You know what I mean? I can add or remove. Yeah. And I was just like, man, like why should all this stuff be like this,
And I think it might come with time and maturity, but if we can help somebody get it sooner than we got it, then I think that's also like take that lesson, because that's just to be that prepared. Like you said, it helps you not having to stay up late at night trying to pull everything together so that person has it.
That's a goal of mine, and there's a balance of like, I said this year is really a lot of focus on me. So I have helped people, but I've never been more intentional about just, I need to get what I need to get right now.
I'm on that.
But you feel me? Like I've been helping a lot, but I'm even encouragement or answering the phone call, but I'm like, I gotta get it.
Yeah.
But just in the sense of like preparing like for what's about to happen in a way, and not like, don't move in fear. I forget what I was trying to say initially, the thought, but it's just like not moving in fear and just like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
You said it before, like, don't settle for good when great is an option.
Listen, because my mama.
Speak that talk. Speak that talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire.
And it's, I think, it's just like so many things come with life lessons. And then like being a giver, you do like tend to give a lot to other people. And it is important, like you said, like to take care and get what get what you need to get too.
And I remember what I was gonna say in that line. Like, it's like, I want people like LA. We talk about being hard and to navigate, and if you don't know people and getting connect, and when we are all at West A, it was that helped a lot of things. But I would say, I was like, man, I want to help people have what I didn't have necessarily. So I'm trying to put them in position where I wasn't. So maybe be the mentor that I didn't have until recently.
Yeah.
Or do that. But I'm also like, I'm in a season where I was like, okay, well, I did all this. I was single. I'm like, hey, you got me. Now that's a different season.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't have as much accessibility.
Right.
And I'm starting to dwindle it down. And so it's like just understanding the season that you're in.
Yeah. Understanding
and what that takes.
Is big.
Huge.
Yeah. And creating like boundaries. And sometimes you feel bad for creating certain boundaries, but it's just like, I'm going to give what I need to give. That's what this whole podcast is. Come I want people, like you said, I want people to have what I didn't have and know what I didn't know. Yeah. And so that's why we're here doing that. But like, I had to get to a point where I had to learn to say no to stuff. Because I'd be out here just open for everybody.
Twilla, you had 1,000 placements. I remember. I was like, "What are you doing?"
And I don't know.
It's like everything.
People need me.
Yeah.
And I want to help. I want to help people reach those dreams and those type of things. But then you have to be like.
But people will pull on you.
Yeah.
Like not intentionally too, but like they'll do what you allow them to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your text, but I'm, my boy Mark.
Yeah.
Man, he said this is like 08, Mark, 09. When I first met him, he was like, man, we got to have that retail mentality. He's like 10 to 6, bro, or 9 to 5. He said, but when the stores close, your boy closed. for certain things. And it's
Yeah.
like after that, it's like friends and like family, certain friends.
Yeah.
But I can't help you if I need help.
That part. Yeah. That's the truth.
And I'm over here struggling like, yeah, sure. I got you guys. All right. Well, you need me.
Right.
It's like, this Negro is crazy.
Yeah. You got to take,
Lost
you
his
can't
mind.
give from a place of emptiness.
At all.
And so you want to make sure you get on that. Dave, do you think you could do, let me stretch it.
What's
Do you
up?
think you could do what you're doing here and now in another city? Like, do you feel like you could have to be in LA?
That's a great question. And you're asking a pro Angelino fan right here. I don't think you have to be in LA at this stage, especially with, technology and all that. I do think you need to have some like relationship with people here. It doesn't hurt to visit, or at least be tapped into the city, because at the end of the day, it is the core of where everything is happening.
Yeah.
So if you aspire to be in entertainment, you can say, I'm not moving to LA, I'm a rebel. That's fine. But at some point, LA is you're gonna have to touch it.
Right.
And so I just think like that's a question that you really need to ask in terms of like work-life balance, in terms of financial, in terms of what you can endure.
Yeah.
And so I don't force anybody, because LA is not the place to be if you don't want to live here. It is a hard city for sure. And that's when you love it.
Yeah.
I've been here 15 years now. Love it.
Yeah.
I say all the time, I'm an East Coast boy, but I'm a West Coast man.
Yeah.
But it's hard. And so if you're not in the industry, or if you want to be in the industry and you're not in LA, I would just say you have access to everything.
Yeah.
Google, social media, like LinkedIn, hit people up, make connections.
Right.
And then if you're not here, you might be able to get here easily, to get a plane and do something, like just come out.
Yeah, I know. Like, I have a couple of producing partners that don't live here, but making things happen. And I know people who've been might have been long established here.
Yeah.
And then they go to, the East Coast or go back home. And because they have that relationship, they're able to keep it up.
It's just real. My brother said this years ago. My brother. And I was going to ask you what you think about that question too. But like, my brother worked at Sony. And at the time, he started right when he finished up school. So he's like 23, 24.
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah.
And he worked, and he had to hire somebody. And he was like, hey, man, I don't know if I'm going to stay at Sony. And I was like, what? He said, there was a guy I was interviewing. He's like 50. And he was like, man, I really want this job. And the guy was like so desperate. And my brother's like, I've been here for like 2 years. He said, and it's cool. But I'm like, if he's so desperate to work here, he said, I could probably leave here and work anywhere. Because it's like, oh, my God, you worked at Sony.
Yeah.
He's trying to get here, and there's a ceiling.
Yeah.
Once you're there, it's like, ain't nobody impressed. You're already there.
Yeah.
But when you leave, they're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And so he looked at it from that lens, and I think that's very true. Like, our good friend Tatiana, who's like my business partner, she's in North Carolina, but she worked at one of the top agencies in LA for years.
Yeah.
Lived here. I'm telling her all the time, I'm like, use that.
Yeah.
Like, you're in North Carolina, you don't have to leave. But flex.
Well, I'm partial. Tati already knows she has to leave.
Oh, no, Tati knows she has to come back. I'm being nice. I was being PC.
Okay, no, okay.
Bring, this is a clean show. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Back here.
Now.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yes.
My girls got me sweating. Man.
We are on the same page for that. But in general, I don't feel like you always have to. I think, like you said, there's advantages to being here, and there's a network. I think depending on where you are, there might also be a certain quality in the work, or like with the crew that you can find to do stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that is also changing, because technology, people are becoming really good at like camera work and understanding lighting and things like that. So I do feel like you can find that anywhere, but you kind of have to, like you said, cost of living is a thing out here.
It is.
So if that being a thing,
we've been fortunate because we are very connected in sense to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there is some sense of family here. Like, I do have a blood brother that lives here. I have another brother, Mark, who's been like a brother for now 15 years, and all his family, so it's like, I think for us, it can be a little different.
Yeah.
But I would definitely it is difficult.
Yeah. And if you're going to be here, you definitely want to create a community because it can be hard.
Yeah. There's so many people though. I hear it and I don't waste time arguing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to prove to you that LA is a good place. You know what I mean? But people like you've lived south of the 10. I think people they've lived in the valley the whole time and then they don't see black people or this and they're like LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like my mom, what she said when I was getting stuff out the fridge. You got to move it out the way. It's not gonna come to you.
Right.
So LA's like that. Like it rewards those who come looking for it.
Right.
But it's not going to sit there and come to you.
Exactly.
And then there's also, I would say this, like I went to the festival that we just did, great time, but there's just some things that we do that are like normal that in other places, like you go to a festival in a different city and that's what they're doing for that week.
Right.
And then they're going to go back for the most part to what they're actually doing.
Right.
But we put on a festival.
Right.
And I'm like, this is life.
This is,
What are you talking about? This is like, I'm like, when I got off the plane, I drove by Warner Brothers. You feel me? Like, I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference. Like, it's so right there.
Right.
Attainable right in front of you. Yeah. And I think that's the difference, you know. But, yeah, to each his own. You got to be where you're happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said to each its own because there's a debate if it's teach its own.
Come on.
Or to each its own. And I'm so glad you know I've
been seeing y'all clips. You and Dion, I've been checking my own language. I'm like, wait a minute. Jesus.
Did I say that incorrectly?
Yeah, to each his own. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
So, Dave, we're coming to the end of this conversation, but what are you working on now? Like, you're always doing something. Like, how can people see your projects? How can they support?
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the things, like, we do host a podcast, Posting Black. That's really, really exciting, and that's been going well. So we get to interview.
It's looking really good. It's still going, man.
Yeah. I'm just really thankful.
You got some good names on there.
Man.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, I think, like, at the end of everything, we're coming to the end of this. A lot of the stuff that I've been able to do, I truly, like, I just have to throw it back to God. I'm like, I couldn't have made this up.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made this up. And he's still writing the story.
Yeah.
But Posting Black is really going well. If you like podcasts, we're working, trying to get it as a show, TV show, but praying for the sponsors and all that to come in. The Honest Tea Project, Can You Relate? I'm doing some work with potential, I can't say because it hasn't been announced yet, but working with one of our former partners who helped us with the process.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay, I feel you.
So we're doing something else with them. And then these two projects like help produce with Amy. And then I'm really proud of the work we just did with D-Lo. It's called, the film's called Shoebox. And we just had like Royce Hawkins from, just amazing. Like that film, I saw a cut recently and I'm just so excited. And I'm thankful. And then I'm on hold, like even the acting stuff, like I'm on hold for a really big voiceover gig.
Oh, wow.
I had a big audition. They want to see me in person. So hopefully when that time comes, I just do what I need to do. Because I'll be real with you, that's something that could change the game in terms of like, you know, financial stuff, even career. But just like I saw that, I was like, wait a minute.
So this is how much?
For me?
A whole me?
Regular? A whole me. For me? So
oh, man.
I'm just praying about that.
So it sounds like we're about to be able to see Dave everywhere is what I got from that.
Blessing.
So one thing that we do on this show is do like what we call takeaways.
Come on.
And this is just like tips that we got from you as you were talking.
Hot fire. That's what we was doing over there. I ain't even gonna look, but that's what we was doing right there.
That's what we was doing. Okay. You see how that happened?
I see. You sneaky. You sneaky.
And so key takeaway number 1. Trust the process and God's timing. You never know when your project will take off.
Yeah.
Please take that to heart.
Yeah.
Key takeaway number 2. Who you know may get you through the door, but talent will keep you there.
Yeah.
Number 3. Prepare while you're waiting. When it's time to go, it's not time to get ready.
Yeah.
Because I think I just really want to reiterate that because there's a lot of people walking amongst us who will be like, I want to be a writer. I want to write. And then you say, well, do you have a project? Do you have a project?
Shots fired.
And they're like, no. And that's it. Not even I'm working on one, or I have an outline, or I have an idea. It's just like, I want to be a writer, or like, I want to be a director. Well, what type of things do you direct? I don't know. Like, I haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's important to like be ready, or to, I always say, cultivate your skill while you're, you might not be in that place where you're trying to be.
That's the word.
But get ready for it.
Yeah. What can you do while you're waiting?
Our producer feels triggered right now.
I saw that. Oh, boy.
TD Jake says, get ready, get ready,
get ready.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
Takeaway number 4, understand the season that you're in. Mm-hmm. There are times when you need to set stronger boundaries and prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
That says itself. And number 5, you'll get out of LA what you put into it.
Yeah.
And I think there's also things to kind of recognize with LA. Like, I enjoy LA more when I have money.
Talk about it. Hey, yo.
But like, that's where you have to know, like, okay, where are the free things I can do?
My brother said the same thing, because he moved.
Yeah.
And then he moved back.
I didn't know he was back though.
Yeah, he moved because his girlfriend. I'm shouting out to Ashley. She's a PhD student. Just started at UCLA.
Okay.
So
nice.
We be fighting on, but we also do the A clap for UCLA.
Well, or something like that. No.
Yeah, he show love. But yeah, but she is back. So they're in LA.
Love it.
And he said, man, the biggest difference, he said, that I noticed, he said, there's a difference between broke LA and like I work from home LA.
Yeah.
He said, and I like this. And it's different. And I didn't even think, because he's been going for so long. But it was like, I was like, wow, that's a good note. Yeah,
I really think about like the difference, because I mean, I think there's first the benefit in experiencing broke LA is that you kind of get to know the city in a different way, and there's an appreciation. So when you're not in broke LA, there's an appreciation for, like, you'll be like, man, I remember when I was on the bus. I remember I wanted to eat here, but that was like my whole paycheck, or like different things like that. So, but like I still say, like, even in that time period, I would make sure that I would try to go to some free events, enjoy like hiking, like different things that don't cost money that you can do. You might have to pay for parking. You will have to pay for parking.
On. Shout out to the game nights.
Yes.
Every
game nights, hanging with friends.
Yeah.
That's why kickbacks are so big in LA.
You feel me? We can do a lot, you know. There's a lot. Yeah, I encourage anybody who's like discouraged right now. You know, like I think that's the biggest thing, because it's easy to just sit behind a smile and be discouraged and like see other people winning. Social media is so crazy. It looks like everybody's winning.
Yeah, don't fall for that.
And there might be, like, we're in a season where, yes, a lot of my friends are writers on shows.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are on shows acting. And we're doing things. People look at me and they're like, they behind the scenes. But like, literally, I got laid off from a stay-at-home job I had in February.
Yeah.
And I had to hustle a little bit. And I was like, man, thank God for the voiceover, because I helped take care of rent.
Right.
But it's like, man, God, I thought I'd be further along by this. But just keep, you know what I mean? Just keep, take it day by day. You know, he says, give us our daily bread.
Yeah.
And one thing I wrote in my phone, I'll say this, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Your boy is the biggest encourager of everybody else and the attacker of myself.
I feel triggered now too.
Nigga.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, you should be so much better.
What is
Twilla,
wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
How are you so? And my people back in D.C., they like, you know, buying houses, government, all that stuff. And I'm like, they're like, man, I'm proud of you. I'm like,
but for what?
For what?
Yeah, no, I'm big
so
on that too.
I would just say, give yourself grace, and your time is coming.
Absolutely. And also appreciate where you are, because a lot of times you don't realize how far you actually have come. Yeah.
That's it right there.
Like, you have to have those moments. Like, if you can sit back and reflect and just be like, man, I remember when.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting in our studio,
Come on.
and I remember when this whole operation would have been out my house.
You feel me?
On a flip phone or camera or something.
The first episode of Posting Black, you and Dion pulled up to my apartment.
Yeah.
And interviewed my boy Jeff.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we've been in this thing for a minute.
Long time.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And so it's like, I think that's the stuff of a mentor of mine. He's an older brother, and he works with me a lot. He was like, man, you gonna realize this is the time. He's 72, 73. And I was like, what are you talking? He said, nah, man, you gonna get to my age and be like, oh, that was when it was going.
Yeah.
So I'm just literally not trying to, I don't want to get to 40 and then be like, man, I wish this or this. And then get to 45 and then be like, I wish. And then by the time I get to 70, I'm looking back, I'm like, I wish I would have just enjoyed where I was.
Exactly. That's so real.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna
end a whole life of complaining.
Yeah. We're gonna end it on that note because that's it. Like,
come on.
Enjoy the now and where you're at. Dave, how can we find you?
Hey, I'm on social media, in the gram, you know, David Hunter Jr., Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. People can find me on there. They can find us at Made for More Entertainment. But really want you to subscribe to Posting Black.
Posting Black.
Please subscribe to Posting Black. We're trying to build up the followers on that. It's a really good listen. We got some great people from Black Lady Sketch Show, everything, Woman King. My guy, a good friend of ours, JB, he's doing the Transformers movie. So if you haven't seen it already, check it out.
Posting Black is a podcast about the Blacks, African Americans, in post-production. Right. And it's educational, it's entertainment, it's really more for like a more focused extension of like what we do here. And it's really good content. We can follow that on Instagram, but also
even on YouTube, you can subscribe to Made for More and Posting Black's there. And then, you know, it's like inside the actor studio for post-production.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not going to be an actor. Everybody's not going to be fire producer, but you can work on some of your favorite shows.
Yeah.
And be making some money, making a career.
Making bank.
Yeah. I've gotten people jobs from this. I'm like, oh, they need, you know any editors? And I send them some names. And I'm like, all right, cool. Tell them the rate is $4,000 a week for 4 weeks. And I was like, I was on my computer like, I was moving the mouse around. I said, I know I edited somewhere in this thing. I can do some color.
I feel it on that.
I'm about to get an AI system and be like, don't tell the writers. I'm about to get an AI coloring.
Oh, don't do it.
Color this film.
Don't do it. We need jobs.
I know. It's like I'm playing. Yeah, pay the writers. Pay the writers.
Well, again, thank you. You can also find me on Twilla Amin. And this is posted on Lactose. And if you're listening, you know we're available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So until next time, peace out.